This is the slideshow of the build of Grandpa's place. This is first picture is what it looked like before we started building and had the area cleared. In the second picture, we've laid down the foundation. We have a set of bricks down, and we have all of our joists in place. In this picture, we have our subflooring down, and we've built both the front and back walls on top of each other and nailed everything up. In this picture, we have stood up the walls, and we have added up the ridge beam. You'll notice that there's only one ladder, and we did manage to get that ridge beam up with just one ladder, which was a feat. This is the end of another weekend. We've put all of our walls up, we have our windows in, and we have all of our rafters in place. In this one, you can see the front and back deck have been framed out, and we worked on getting all of that set up. This is a friend of mine. We're cutting the boards for the roof. This is subflooring boards that we're putting up on top of the roof for the front and back deck and for the actual roofing material. Another picture of the back deck. You can see we've got the main boards up. We still haven't put the boards onto the roof itself. We're taking a moment to take a few pictures. Here we have all of the roofing done, and basically we're getting a front view of the cabin. Another view from a little ways down the drive. And this is another friend of mine who came out to help with the roofing. We're putting on metal roofing. We've actually laid tar paper down underneath that, so there is tar paper and then metal roofing on top of it. We've also gotten all the deck boards in for the decking, front and back. This is a shot of the back deck with the little $20 grill I bought at Walmart. Once we got to that point, we went ahead and installed the doors and began insulating the interior. We used R13 insulation for all the interior walls. There's a good picture of the door. We trimmed around the door with 1x3s. This is the beginning of boarding the walls up. We're using tongue and groove boards. That actually took a long time. I really didn't have anyone to come help me do this. So when I got to doing the wall boards, all of this is me by myself on a weekend, out there just cutting and nailing up boards. I believe it took me 3 weekends to finish the interior wall boarding. And I took a lot of pictures of the progress as I moved through it. Here I've got the wall up ready to the peak, about ready to start cutting the peak boards and nailing all of that in. Some of the insulation had come out and I had to put it back. Here's another shot of the door. You can see my ladder in place. We've got the wall boarding in, most of it anyway. We're getting ready to start on the sides. This is a shot of cutting around the window for each of those wall boards. And here we've made it up to the roof line. As I said, this was a whole lot of work to get to this point. And you see, I cut each of these peak boards at an angle so that they neatly fit up in there. Here I am starting on boarding in the roof. It took me 2 days to board that roof in. Here's the trim around the windows. I actually had to set up my saw to do a miter so that the trim would actually inset into the window properly. Here's a shot of the interior first thing in the morning. I actually took that shot in such a way that you couldn't see that I hadn't finished the roof. Here is the roof finished all the way up to the peak. In this one, I have actually had a friend out there helping me, and we laid in the laminate flooring. That's oak laminate flooring. In this one, we've started shellacking the walls. All the walls in the cabin have a coat of shellac over them. So we began by shellacking the roof and then began working down the walls. And you can see the golden color that the shellac brings out in the pine that I used. This is a friend of mine out helping me shellac up the back wall. You can see how the color changes when you get a good coat of shellac on it. This is the windowsill that I cut. Cut and made the entire windowsill and the sill board on bottom, which comes out from the window itself. More like a traditional wooden windowsill. Here's a shot where we've shellacked about half of the wall. In the windowsills, I ended up putting 3 coats of shellac on the sills. Here's one where we finished up the back wall and the roof. This is front corner. That's actually the futon that I have out there that I comfortably sit and sleep on. That little side table I picked up at a junk shop for about 20 bucks. Another shot of the shellacked walls. I used that little table out there until I got the countertops built. Now this is a shot of the walls. You'll notice we haven't put any of the trim up, so there's no trim across the top or the bottom boards. This is everything packed in before I left for the weekend. This is the weekend I was out building cabinets. I built all of the cabinets in the cabin, and I built the countertop and hardy-boarded the countertop. These are the upper cabinets. I built 2 upper cabinets and then put a crossboard between the 2. And that crossboard has hooks in it for hanging pots and pans and things like that. And this is before I shellacked these cabinets. Here's a quick mock-up. I went ahead and put the sink in to get a feel for how the sink was going to look and hung a few pots and pans to get a good idea how it was going to feel. In this one, I have just put 1 coat of shellac on all of the cabinets and the drawers that I'd built. They're sitting there drying. Went ahead and put the drawers back in. And this one, I've actually got the countertop built and the hardy board in place, and it's all been thin set into place. So this is a full shot of the kitchenette within the cabin. You can see my 1924 Coleman lamp there. In this one, I have finished putting the edge boards or the baseboards around the base and the trim around the door so that it looks finished. Another shot of the kitchen. That sink is not functional yet. This is just before I went to bed. I made sure to get the stove out and set up and get the coffee ready to go. That way when I got up in the morning, all I had to do was light it and go. The lamp's on because it's about 10 o'clock at night and sun's down. Let me thank you for coming along for this little slideshow as I built the cabin. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you don't mind, would you please go ahead and click that subscribe button and you'll get updates anytime I post a new video. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.